and welcome to Modern Monsters. This is episode 2 of the Shapeshifter season. I'm your host, Isabel, and today I'm joined by
Nikol.
Alright, so we're just going to ease right into it. First question is going to be, what personality of the Shapeshifter are you going to be talking about?
So today I'm going to be talking about the motivation part of my Shapeshifter's personality. My shapeshifter takes the form of a workload, so transitioning from high school to college, the workload gets bigger and that causes students to be more stressed overall.
Alright. Who does your personality mainly like to target?
My personality mainly targets students that are transitioning from high school to college because the workload is given in the school environment and students are often very stressed in college because they want to get it all done.
Yeah. Oh, do I know about that?
Yeah, same.
Alright. So what makes this personality so monstrous aside from the workload and...
So what makes this so monstrous is that it can often change depending on what class a student's taking. It can be harder or easier. So if it's a harder class, the workload is a lot and it can often cause people to be more stressed.
Yeah, so what abilities or tactics does it like to use to get you? Does it like to slowly build up? It'll be a smooth sailing day, maybe one assignment, and then all of a sudden you're bombarded with 10 assignments for each class.
So I think it can depend on who the student is. So if a student is unmotivated, then the work can probably build up. If the student's unmotivated, they're probably procrastinating, so the work can build up and it can lead them to being more stressed at the end of the day. So I think it depends on the student and their motivation to do it or not.
So it just depends on the level of motivation that the student has?
Yes.
So I'm just gonna throw out an example. So a student with low motivation, the monster is just gonna constantly keep spitting out all these assignments.
Because the student's probably gonna procrastinate their work and the work will eventually build up.
That's probably me, honestly. Okay. So then, how it affects the people that are in transitioning by just giving them all this stress that they didn't have before?
The workload in college, is usually, and the work in general is usually harder in college than a student in high school. So for them transitioning, it might be a little shocking at first.
Do you think he who withers, the other personality for work, do you think them two are in cahoots sometimes?
Yeah, I think that work is one example of the other things that students have going on, as well as the amount of work they have. So yeah, it that definitely does play a part as well.
That's really scary. You have these two really big monsters just going at you at the same time. Mm-hmm. Alright, so does it have a way that it likes to act around people, or is it just this?
So I think depending on the student, this monster will I definitely act as a fear. Mm-hmm. The students definitely fear being stressed and having so much work on top of them.
Are you stressed right now?
Yes, I am.
There's a monster right behind you.
Until Monday.
Oh, until Monday, of course. Does it blend in with other things?
Yes. So my shapeshifter definitely physically looks casual and the same as other people in school. So it could definitely be me or you going through finals and having a lot of work to do. And
maybe it's just me.
The monster,
okay.
Could look like anyone.
That's really scary. Does it have any kind of weakness to it?
So the weakness could definitely be, it could definitely occur when somebody who's very motivated, the monster probably can't
like touch
break
them or
down break down the person as easier if they're highly motivated to get all the work done.
So then how do you suggest for people to get motivated?
I suggest that they should talk to their professors as much as possible of how to study for their class to make them, less nervous or stressed, to give yourself time to balance, like we said, work and school and your personal life. So, and just notice that you will get through everything. And just be motivated.
What about for, like, the students? Like, personally, I don't like going up to my professors and being like, hey, what's wrong with my grade? So, like, what do you suggest for people like that?
So I suggest to find your own way to study and maybe leave some time for, like, a certain amount of time a week for your schoolwork and for your social life and for work, and just figure out, like, the ways that help you study, because even maybe your professor may not have the best advice, so you can find your own way to study and make time.
Seems logical, really. Alright, final question.
Okay.
Have any of the other personalities targeted you before? Yeah, like
the ones we're going to talk about? So currently I have a job and I do go to school, so I just try and make time for school. I mean, I try not to work as much, but I try to make time for school. Like, even when I am tired after work, I try and get the homework that I do have. I try and get it done, and then I try and make time for my friends and my social life, so I'm not, like, so stressed all the time about school and work.
Yeah. Understandable. Alright. Any last, like, tidbits or trivial facts you want to give out?
No, I think that's
You covered everything?
Yeah.
Alright. So that was our second episode, first, like, official episode of Modern Monsters, and thanks for listening.
Thank you for having me.